Welcome to the 4-H FFA Swine Show at the 2022.
Attention in the barn, we'll be starting our swine show in approximately 5 minutes. We'll be starting with senior showmanship in 5 minutes.
At the 2022 Lancaster County Super Fair. The show will be starting in about 4 minutes. In the background are the swine stalls. The youth have been preparing their swine, bathing them, grooming them, getting them show ready. The first classes will be the showmanship classes, starting with seniors. The showmanship classes emphasize the skill of the exhibitor to show their hog to the best of the hog's ability. Whereas the rest of the classes, the judging is on the swine itself, according to breed standards.
All right, attention to the Swine Show. We are ready to start our 2022 Lancaster County Super Fair Swine Show. So if we could get our first group of senior showmen down into the arena at this time, let's get our show started. All right, let's get our Super Fair started today. Let's open the gates and let's get our first class of senior showmanship into the arena. In the arena now shall be Toby Becker, Mackenzie Cordes, Bailey Doctor, Sidney Doctor, Kyson Dana, Connor Nielsen, and Ava Simpson. It's our first round of senior showmanship, where we'll be pinning the purple ribbons, and those heading out will be receiving blue.
Everybody hear me okay on this deal? All right. I guess first and foremost, this is weird not having a mic in my hand, but first and foremost, I would just say thank you to everybody over here that invited me to come out. It's truly an honor to come out here and sort of hog show, especially at the county level. And, you know, we're going to see all sorts of different showmen, all sorts of different pigs today. Some that, you know, travel around and go to a bunch of shows a year, and some that just come to maybe this is their own show. And I don't care, you know, they might not get a banner today, they might. It doesn't matter to me. I think this whole experience, especially at the county level, where we can have 4-H clubs and stuff like that, where we're working together for a bigger goal than just a banner out here, is really, really cool. So I'm always a fan to judge as many county fairs as I physically can. I feel like it's more personable with the kids than what I'll see at these jackpot or progress shows throughout the year. But I was said to introduce myself shortly. My name is Dalton Overmeyer. I'm from York, Nebraska. We grew up on a diversified show farm is what I like to call it, my own little label. I grew up actually showing horses, cattle, and then ended up with pigs. And the 4-H years, and we didn't have any commercial production on our place, but the 4-H years has led into a career that I'm now fortunate to have. I'm actually a professional student. I'm on my 9th year of college. I'm working on my PhD at the University of Nebraska, just right down the road under Dr. Benny Moat, working on some sow longevity and piglet survival traits. I attended Nebraska and actually judged with Calvin, your extension agent here, back in 2017, and then did my master's at North Carolina State University, where I was also fortunate enough to be the head livestock judging coach out there too. So it's again truly an honor. Showmanship. You guys notice I talk to the individuals. Just since we have multiple classes, I like to keep it fair. I'm not going to say anything to these kids and give those kids that are coming in the next class, you know, an advantage that these kids did not, that I had not talked to. So I've always been a fan of face-to-face interaction and feedback. That's what I strive for and the most when I was showing different species growing up in showmanship. So I gave some comments to the individuals that left the ring and got some blue ribbons, just some things I think they can work on at home and hopefully can translate into the show ring in years to come. But with that being said, thank you guys again for having me. I'm looking forward to it. It's not 115 degrees like last week's show was for me out in western Nebraska, so that's really nice, and hopefully the pigs will enjoy that too. So without ado, let's go ahead and give that first class a big round of applause. I'm looking forward to the rest of the show.
All right, second group, or second class of senior showmanship should be in the holding pens. Coming into the ring at this time, please. Once they have entered class 3, we'll come forward for senior showmanship, and we'll finish up final drive. Entering the arena for this second class of senior showmanship should be Cody Bruce, Ariana Cutlers, Taylor Doctor, Danica Gentry, Claire Polk, and Elena Simpson. Third class senior showmanship, come up to the holding pens at this time, please. Third class, senior showmanship, please come to the holding pins at this time, please.
Second class, the senior showman here. We got one individual coming to represent this particular class. Same thing with the first class is I'm going to give personal feedback to the kids that are not going to make it back for the final drive. And don't worry, I'll have some comments and some remarks for you guys once we get it wrapped up with the classes. But let's go ahead and give these 5 individuals in this particular drive here a big round of applause for doing an awesome job.
All right, congratulations to our second class of senior showmanship. Once we get this last pick out, we'll bring in that third group, and from there we'll be doing our final drive for senior showmanship for reserve and champion. right, this is our third group of senior showmen. Entering the arena at this time is Molly Clark, Dylan Doctor, Madeline Ugglehoff, William Moore, Grace Ann Bolte, and Olivia Vanderford. All right, while we finish up this third class of senior showmanship, put out a plug in here for our 4-H Clover Kids showmanship that we'll be doing at the conclusion of our showmanship rounds. This is for 4-H Clover Kids. Those are between ages 5 and 7. Participants must be enrolled in Lancaster County as a Clover Kid to participate. So what you need to do is you need to hook up with a FFA or 4-H member that's showing Swine today. Work with them directly and come in and show their pig. We have prizes for those Clover Kids showmanship as well. So start thinking ahead, become your first junior showman at our Clover Kids showmanship at the conclusion of showmanship rounds today.
Another great group of seniors as we worked into our last class here. Probably the deepest as far as the class goes, and I think that's going to be represented on those purples versus the blue ratio as far as ribbons go. But there's two individuals that are leaving the ring, and it's unfortunate because I think they did an extremely good job. But unfortunately, just got a little bit lost as the drive went on, and in a really tough class, I think that seems a little bit more evident. But again, let's go ahead, and I believe there's 6 in that class. I think they all deserve a round of applause. They're all doing a great job.
At this time, we'll start our final drive for our senior showmanship. We'll be pinning our top 2 exhibitors, senior and reserve senior showmanship. As a winner of senior showmanship, they will be eligible to participate in the elite showmanship contest, which will take place at 5 p.m. on Sunday. If you are the winner of senior showmanship, you need to let the 4-H office know. Again, elite showmanship will be crowned on Sunday. Again, once we finish up our final drive here for our senior showmanship, we'll be announcing winner of that here shortly. That winner will be eligible for elite showmanship. At this time, I need to have my Class 1 of intermediate showmanship come to the holding pins at this time. Class 1 intermediate showmanship come to the holding pins at this time. Also, I'd like to announce up and around the arena should see some pink colored sheets. These are for our People's Choice Awards. We will be doing that again this year. Let me do some quick checking. Hams are here this year, so make sure you get your People's Choice Awards submitted today. This is where you will present or write down who you think your top exhibitors are, and if your ticket is drawn, you win a ham from Smithfield Farms. Always a great sponsor for our 4-H County Fair.
So again, if we could go ahead and put our hands together for not only these senior showmen, but everybody else. Really good to see 3 big classes at the county level. I go to a lot of shows in some county fairs where there could be 1 or 2 senior showmanship. I understand how busy life gets when you're in high school and how things, I guess, priority-wise, try to trickle out kind of the livestock things, because it is a chore on a daily basis. You do have to go out there and take care of your pig every morning, take care of your pig throughout the day and then in the evening hours too. And unfortunately with that gets in the way of some social activities, some sports clubs and things like that. So that's probably why I see a lot of decrease as we get these kids up older in age, but it's really nice to come just a few miles down the road and see the vast involvement that this county has as far as their senior swine showmen. That's really promising as far as the future goes for this county in my eyes. But I gave some just brief comments, face-to-face interactions, and I kind of withheld some bigger comments and maybe some more particular ones for this drive, just to keep it an even playing field. Showmanship's real simple to me. You get your pig out there, you have the right composure with yourself, with your animal, and you get the hog in front of me. You have good body positioning. You seem aggressive, but you're not too aggressive to have an animal welfare issue out here. But you know what you're doing, and you know maybe the good showman will maybe smile and look like they're enjoying it too. But I was not ever guilty of that when I was showing. I'll say that right now. But it's not too complicated, and I try to keep it that way, because if I try to fixate on one little issue, I'll be out here for the next 2 hours trying to find the perfect showman, and unfortunately, there's just never going to be one. So with that given said, I think there's 3 individuals out here that are doing a really good job, and nothing to take away from the other ones. Perhaps some pigs are not wanting to cooperate this morning. They might be missing their pen mates. Maybe this is the time they typically get fed on a traditional schedule, or perhaps this cool weather's just getting them going a little bit. But I do think there's 3 individuals out here. I don't have any big speech for these kids for showmanship. I'm just going to go pick my champion in reserve. And again, as I pick the reserve, let's go ahead and give everybody a round of applause at the end of it. And I think these kids are all doing an extremely good job. So with that being said, great group of kids here. I'm looking forward to get down into other divisions, but I'll go ahead and select the first and second.
Congratulations to our 2 senior showmanship. Reserve champion was Kyson Gana, and our champion is Olivia Vanderford. Also a great, huge thank you to our new red banner And red sign card sponsors, Sheridan Sotec. That's a new award for us this year. So if you see Sheridan in the arena today, say thank you very much for supporting Lancaster County 4-H and FFA. All right, we got our first drive for senior showmanship finished up there. Again, that person will be eligible for elite showmanship on Sunday. All right, entering the arena at this time is our first class of intermediate showmanship. This should be Chloe Cutlers, Jackson Early, Caden Gaina, Trevor Gentry, Chloe Schwartz, and Cole Stahl. Also need to get our second class of intermediate showmanship. Please bring your swine to the holding arena at this time. All right, go our second group of intermediate showmanship to the holding pens at this arena at this time, please, so that we can get them entered as soon as this first group is done. Second group of intermediate showmanship. Please come to holding pens.
We move in here to the intermediate division, and I gave some just some brief basic concepts to these 4 individuals that are going to exit the ring now. Just some things that I think they can work on at home, and then hopefully, again, like I said earlier, can hopefully translate into the show ring in years to come. And there was a couple of those individuals first times for showing, and I think they did a great job. I hope nothing more that they stick with it and they show until they're 18 years old. Especially on the swine side. Yeah, they can show other species, but we all know this is the most important without a doubt. So with that being said, there are 6 kids in there, and I'd like it if you guys put your hands together for them. So.
All right, intermediate is our second class of intermediate showmanship. Intermediate should be Austin Davis, Ann Friesen, Rachel Hoffman, Hannah Simpson, and Cameron Windsor. Once this class is done, we will determine our overall drive winner for intermediate showmanship. Well, I got this little delay here. I want to say thank you to our livestock exhibitor sponsor. This year, our t-shirt sponsors was Midwest Bank, Smart Chicken, Neogen, and Tractor Supply. As part of the sponsorship, each exhibitor was provided a free t-shirt at no cost to them. Exhibitors are encouraged to sign the postal board near the livestock office to thank these great sponsors. Again, huge shout out to our sponsors for t-shirts this year. Smart Chicken, Neogen, Tractor Supply, and Midwest Bank. All right, first call for junior showmanship, class 1. First call for junior showmanship, class 1. Please bring your swine to the holding area at this time, please.
If everybody could, put your hands together. Another really good class, intermediates. Hopefully they have some take-home messages. Again, I'm going to reiterate myself a lot here in showmanship, but the showmanship definitely starts at home, and I think the work at home is going to be very transparent as we work into these divisions and we work through these classes. So again, they're doing a great job. I look forward to looking at these 3 individuals for the intermediate division champion.
All right, as we finish up our final drive for intermediate showmanship here, give a shout out to our FFA and 4-H families. Throughout the fair, if you see something out there that you want to share, take a photo of that. We now have our new photo share opportunity. Families are invited to share photos of youth and their animals to the Lancaster County website for use by future 4-H staff. This website and QR code are found on the front of your show programs. Deadline for champion and reserve champion award photos is August 5th. So we have our photo share opportunity out there as well. Again, another shout out to our Clover Kids Showmanship, which we'll be doing at the conclusion of the junior showmanship rounds. So if you are between ages of 5 and 7, currently enrolled in Lancaster County Clover Kids, get signed up to do that. We do have prizes. Final call for our Class 1 Junior Showmanship. Final call, Class 1 Junior Showmanship. Bring your pigs to the holding arena at this time.
I'll keep this intermediate drive pretty short and sweet. We get into these younger age groups and it's going to become more and more evident, I guess, on who's really putting the hours in at home, and maybe just fortunately enough for individuals is to have an opportunity to get out and show them more than just 1 or 2 shows. And we get in here to the younger age groups and you can tell which kids have been doing it really since they were really little and just been exposed to it and kind of soaked in some of that information maybe from previous divisions and know what that particular judge likes, or just soaked in information from whoever's helping them or whatever role models they have back at home. And we're going to start seeing in the juniors, I'm sure we'll have a couple kids that are doing a really good job at a really young age. And I think all 3 of these kids are doing an excellent job. I will say they're all 3 extremely different in terms of their type and kind of showmanship style, and that makes it a little bit more difficult. But like I said during the senior deal, I try not to overcomplicate this thing, especially on showmanship. I kind of know what works, and you don't have to come out here and jump through hoops in order to go and win a showmanship show for me. You just got to keep your hog in front of me, You got to be comfortable. You got to keep the pig moving, and then, you know, body position around that animal as far as if I'm going on to the right side of it and you're standing on the right, maybe you should move over to the left. That way the judge can see the animal he's trying to look at. Just other things, eye contact goes hand to hand with ring awareness and understanding where you need to move in relation to the judge as well as the contemporaries that are also showing against you. And then more importantly, look like you're having fun out here. I think the young lady, she definitely wins out of these three as far as look like she's having the most fun. I get it's intense, I get it's a competition, but at the end of the day, showing pigs is a lot of fun. Showing any animal is a lot of fun, but showing pigs is a lot of fun. So don't be afraid to have a little fun with it, but I try not to overcomplicate it. And for those reasons, I think there's one individual out here that just does an excellent job. It took me about 5 seconds in the class, and this individual captured my attention, and it hasn't left since these classes and the division has been over. So with that being said, I think this individual definitely could compete. It would be interesting if we ran the intermediates and seniors together and see if the young kid couldn't knock off the older kids. But with that being said, a young man right here to my left is going to go ahead and be my champion. Great job. And then I think it gets awfully close between these two kids here as far as reserve goes. Again, very different showmanship techniques. This young kid's out here, you know, working his tail off and going and getting pretty aggressive on the whip, which is awesome, trying to get his barrow to move. As the drives went on, the barrow's definitely not wanting to cooperate, but the young kid's one step ahead of him, getting him turned in the right position and keeping him in the center of the ring. Young lady is just as relaxed as they come. She gets out here and in class in particular, what sorted herself up in relation to her contemporaries in class is that her pig was just always in the middle of the ring. She was easy going. The gilt was walking at a normal, comfortable speed. Unfortunately, that kind of relaxed, I guess, mindset as the drive goes on here in division is working to her disadvantage. That gilt wanting to hug that corner over there quite a bit. And unfortunately, I think that's what slips her down to third. So young man here with the alfalfa black belt is going to go ahead and do reserve. Congratulations. Great job.
Congratulations to our two top showmen here in the Indian Showmanship. Winning that was Caden Gaina, and our reserve was Austin Davis. And both of their sponsors were supported by the Lancaster County Livestock Boosters Club. Again, if you see members of that club out in the arena today, so thank you for sponsoring these awards. All right, and in the arena now is our first class of junior showmanship. In the arena should be Lyndon Aries, Nora Bruce, Blake Davis, Elizabeth Funk, Matthew Mincer, Carolyn Shorts, and Adrielle Skinner. Let's get our second class of junior showmanship. Come to the holding pens at this time now, please. Second class junior showmanship. Don't forget, get your pink sheets for your People Choice Awards. Those are scattered around the arena. If you see a showmanship or swine that you are interested in sponsoring, again, our pink sheets are out there. Fill out their name, and you'll be entered for our Smithfield hams that we give away every year for our swine show. All right, so Calvin is bringing over our box for our People's Choice Award. It's wonderfully decorated, so make sure you drop something in right there. He's holding it up right there by the announcer stand, so put your pink sheets in that today. All right, we need our second group, second class of junior showmanship. You have not brought your swine forward. Come bring that forward now so we can get them into the arena since this first class is finished. Second class junior showmanship should be in the holding pens at this time now.
Good first group of junior showmanship we had here. Again, like I did, if you guys are just joining ringside, what I've done throughout showmanship in the particular classes is give face-to-face feedback to the kids, some things they can work on at home, some things that they can do better as far as when they get in the show ring. There's a few individuals. I know the young man over in the far right corner with the blue speckled gilt there. This is his first year showing, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job. So I try not to get too critical. This is the part of my job that's not super fun is necessarily placing these younger kids. My biggest thing is I just wish I could just give feedback and not have to place them at this level as far as the juniors go, and just give them some things they can work on at home. And I just like to see them grow as an individual in years to come. So hopefully with some feedback, some face-to-face interaction, they're going to be able to do that in some years to come. But with that being said, let's put our hands together for a great group of junior showmen in our first class.
All right, our first group, first class of some junior showmanship is done in the arena now. This is our second class. We should have Derek Bruce, Jude Clark, Brielle Orley, Alexis Cruz, Maria Polk, and Dalton Shikowski. All right, let's get our third class of junior showmanship up to the holding arena at this time, please. Third class junior showmanship up in the holding arena. Then at the conclusion of this junior show, we'll be doing our Pee Wee showmanship, our Clover kids. So if you are not signed up for that yet, or hook up with the 4-H or FFA showing Swine today, let's get that going. Again, ages 5 to 7, we have prizes for those exhibitors. All right, we're close to finishing up our second class of junior showmanship. At this time, make sure we need to get our final class of juniors into the holding arena at this time, please. Our final call for our junior showmanship, class 3, in the holding arena at this time. This also is our final call for our Pee Wee Clover Kids showmanship. So make sure you get those entered as well. More information can be found up at our announcing desk.
Big hand for another great group of juniors. These kids are doing an awesome job. Some of their pigs aren't wanting to cooperate today, but the kids are out here having fun. Again, I've been just kind of asking around, and it looks like a lot of these kids are in their first and second year showing. So this is just a learning opportunity out here, and hopefully the kids look at it that way. This is just one judge, one subjective opinion today, and hopefully with some feedback, they're able to improve as far as their overall showmanship skills go in the future. So again, those kids are doing a great job, and I believe we have one more class, right?
All right, and now is our final class of junior showmanship. We should have Jackson Bruce, Harper Cortez, Timothy Egelhoff, Grace Minstler, Reese Rockenbach, and Shani Staub. All right, this is our final class of junior showmanship. All right, this is your last call. Last call. Clover Kids Showmanship. If you are showing in that, please bring your swine to the holding area at this time now. Last and final call. Clover Kids Swine Showmanship. Please bring your swine to the holding area with your 4-H'er as well.
I apologize for taking just a little bit extra time on these last couple classes, specifically with juniors as well as some of the intermediate classes. I just think showmanship is so important to the overall goal that we're trying to teach these kids, and the lessons that 4-H and FFA are I guess, passed down through these individuals as they work on their projects and as they become more leaders as far as their community and in their clubs and I guess just overall life as well as that. So I think showmanship is extremely, extremely important for these kids to just learn those lessons, and then we can start looking at the phenotypic traits of these animals. But for that, I'd just like to say, please, everybody that's sitting around, big hand for all the juniors. They did a great job. You guys have a ton of youth here in this county. It's good to see, again, like the seniors, it's good to see 3 deep classes on the junior level. Hopefully all you kids can stick with it. Hopefully you guys can talk to your friends and get some of them involved. It looks like you guys have a great program with the Pick a Pig program. And hopefully you guys can just get more kids involved with it. And then hopefully with that becomes education on the agricultural industry as a whole. So with that, I look forward to getting these individuals out in the division champion. If I don't give you guys comments over the microphone, before you exit the ring, I'll try to grab each and every one of you, but obviously stick with your pig. But I'll try to give you guys some feedback after we select our champion reserve. So good luck to each of you kids.
All right, as we conclude our junior showmanship final round here, we need to do a shout out to our sponsors this year for our new backdrops. This is our Acres Implement. It's a new sponsor for our new photo backdrop. All livestock, poultry, and rabbit feeders are encouraged to take advantage of this during the Super Fair. One is located on the east and west end of the pavilion. Again, shout out to our sponsor, Acres Implement, for our new backdrop for photos this year. Last final call, Clover Kids, showmanship.
We get these juniors back in here to represent their particular classes, and I think there's two individuals, and it works out good. I just need a champion in reserve. There's two individuals, and like I said in senior showmanship, just cover the basics and just get the hog in front of me. That's the important thing. All the extra little things that a lot of judges like to nitpick, that's sometimes useful depending on the show you're at. But for this particular show, it's just so important. We have a beautiful arena here. There's plenty of room. We have some bigger classes, but just get that hog in front of me at all time. And I told a lot of these kids that went back to the back, it's a little bit harder with a judge like me that typically likes to move around quite a bit. You always try to have to be one step ahead of the judge, so that way you can get your pig into the right position at the right timing. But with that, I still think there's two individuals that did an excellent job on that, especially for their age group. There's some differences between them. One of them's got a little bit more aggressive to him, to that individual, a little bit more aggressiveness. At times does an excellent job, but then at times kind of loses himself just a little bit. And then we have another, gentleman that's just doing a good job. Maybe we'd like to share a little bit of that aggressiveness from those top two individuals because this kid's just really relaxed. But I haven't had to search for him, not only in class, but also throughout in the division. And one important thing you're going to see with your champion, if you guys, and I'm sure the parents who are watching or whoever's helping this kid, is right when this pig came out, it went ahead in class and just sprinted across the ring. And the kid didn't get frustrated. He just walked up, got the pig, and then just ever since then, he's been in front of me the whole time. And for that reason, the one that's standing right in front of you, that black hog right there, is going to go ahead and be your champion. Congratulations, buddy. And like I said, the reserve is awfully close. Just at times we're just a little lost and got a little lost behind the pig or behind myself, for instance. But the young man over here with the belted hog right here is going to go ahead and be your reserve. So congratulations to you.
All right, congratulations to our junior showmanship champions in reserve. Championing that class was Timothy Ugelhoff with Derek Bruce as our reserve. Again, a shout out to our sponsor, Lancaster County Livestock Booster Club, for sponsoring those stall signs and banners this year. If you see a member of that club or a booster, say thank you very much for sponsoring those signs. All right, this is our in-home Pee Wee showmanship or Clover Kids showmanship. Should be entering the arena at this time. We do have extra swine that could be shown, I'm told. So if you want to come and show a youth between the ages 5 and 7, enrolled in Clover Kids here in Lancaster County or another county out here, come on in, let's get some show. All right, at the conclusion of our Pee Wee or Clover Kids showmanship, let's get a first call, super lightweight, class 1. Market swine, super lightweight, class 1 market swine, and that will begin our regular 4-H show. First call. All right, second call, super lightweight, class 1. Second call, super lightweight, class 1. First call, super lightweight, pick a pig. First call, super lightweight, pick a pig.
If we could we please give Hayden, Zach, Josh, and Kinley a big round of applause. They're doing an awesome job out here. Clover Kids is, I remember we did things a little different in York County. We had like an open show. Excuse me. We had an open show, but we also had what is it, show and tell basically with any livestock species. And I remember they always picked a winner basically by their best description in this deal. And I remember the one year I won, and it was the only year I didn't show a calf. The one year I won, I had a corgi. So I guess the first time I ever showed an animal in my life was with a corgi. So my hat's off to these guys for coming out and getting behind a pig. And thank you to each of the individuals that let these kids show a pig. I know you guys have a show yet coming up, but I think it's really cool that you guys were able to donate your pig for this class. So one thing I also like to ask some Clover Kids is all the parents get on pictures. Everybody get on pictures, you think? Okay, because I know that's really important too. I like going back and looking at scrapbooks too. So with that being said, again, put your hands together for these 4 kids. They're doing an awesome job. And thank you again to the sponsors that helped these kids get here.
All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break here as we switch over to our market swine show. We're going to take a 5-minute break here real quick. All right, well, we got this short little break here. Let's put in a few announcements. Of course, tonight we have our chicken dinner fundraiser. It's a great opportunity to support Lancaster County 4-H. Enjoy a delicious chicken dinner at the fairgrounds on Friday from 5:30 to 7:30 in the exhibit hall near Pavilion 3. The dinner features slim chickens, chicken tenders. To-go containers are available. All proceeds from this fundraiser support Lancaster County 4-H programs, activities, and scholarships. Advance sale tickets can be purchased at the 4-H Clover Cafe in the Lincoln Room for $8. Tickets are at the door are $10. In addition, we also have our Lancaster County 4-H food stand. Either Lancaster County 4-H food stand during the fair and support 4-H as well. The food stand, also known as a horseshoe and Clover Cafe, is in the multi-purpose in Lincoln Room. Again, proceeds helps from the food stand support Lancaster County 4-H programs. Also, we have our 4-H golf tournament coming up. This will take place October 2nd at Woodland Hills Golf Course with a 1 p.m. shotgun start. So if you are a golfer and wish to participate and support Lancaster County 4-H, more information can be found up here at the booth. All right, we are ready to start our market swine show. We'll start with the first coming in the arena is our market swine super lightweight class 1. We'll have 4 exhibitors for this. These are pigs that didn't quite make our weight class. I believe it's minimum of 220 pounds this year to make our minimum weight, 225. So they didn't quite make our market weight, so we'll have a special classes for these smaller size pigs. They got a little bit of growing to do, obviously, but nonetheless, there's excellent pigs to be shown here today. First class, super lightweight, market swine. Second call, super lightweight, pick-a-pig. Second call, super lightweight, pick-a-pig. Come bring your swine to the holding area at this time. First call, pick-a-pig, market swine, lightweight. First call, pick-a-pig, market swine, lightweight.
So we get in here to this first class in the market division here, and I understand they're super lightweights or just pigs that didn't make weight. And I think it's 220 or 220, 225, 230, whatever it is. I guess it doesn't matter. I'm sure these kids are just as frustrated as I was when we have one that doesn't want to eat. Or perhaps these are just younger pigs that they're wanting to come out and get experience with. I think is very, very valuable too. Maybe they have future shows that they're really aiming towards down the road with these animals. But I would say I had really frustrations during the summer too. It was always nice. My brother's on the crop side, so he always said this is great corn growing weather, but unfortunately it's not necessarily great pig growing weather as far as the dog days of summer here in July. Pigs aren't wanting to eat and stuff like that. So I understand the frustrations. However, I do think this, these four, if this is any kind of depiction of what I'm going to see the rest of the show, I'm really, really excited. I know the quality's here. There's a ton of depth just in the super lightweight class. And I think it offers a ton of sort too. So just real quick, I really like this blue barrel. He's going to go ahead, blue-butted hog here, going to go ahead and win. I just read him as a really complete one. The other complete one's going to go ahead and follow it. Fortunately enough for this guy, I think he's just a notch better right there in his ham-loin junction. I think he's better in his forerib, and he stands more width when you get on top of him as well. And he's good enough in terms of the structure. I'd like to loosen him up in terms of his rear pastern ever so slightly, but I think that's getting critical on one that go ahead and takes the cake in this particular class. Kind of the rough patch skin barrel here that's coming here in second is one that I just said again is a really complete kind of barrel. He actually takes the nod in terms of feature at the ground. He's really big in terms of the forearm. He's a touch powder scold on top of that. You can see he's working a ton of shape up high. Unfortunately, he's just not as explosive in terms of his forerib, in terms of his rib shape compared to the class winner. I'd like to hinge him a little bit loose in his ham loin there too as well. Young lady's black barrel here, white-footed barrel, whatever you want to call him. One that's really, really cool. I love the front two-thirds of this barrel. If he would just kind of stand still the whole time during the class, I think we'd see him move up in relation to his contemporaries here, but unfortunately, he's just a little tender-footed on his back right today, and that's working to his disadvantage. He's going to fall in third. Kind of the white belted or Oreo colored pattern barrel here that's going to go in fourth. One that just is a bigger outline type of hog that's working to his disadvantage. He's a little bit greener and more immature in terms of his muscle composition today. So congratulations to you four kids. Hopefully, if these are getting showed down the road, good luck to each of you guys. So congratulations. Let's put our hands together for these four showmen. Yeah.
Congratulations to our class winner, Olivia Vanderford, for her very nice looking black crossbred barrel there. All right, in the arena now is our second class or second group of super lightweights. This is for our pick-a-pig program, super lightweight pick-a-pig program. Second call, pick-a-pig market swine, super lightweight. Second call, pick a pig, super lightweight. First call, pick a pig, lightweight class 3. Second call, pick a pig, market swine class 3.
I'll keep this pretty short and sweet. I think obviously this program, and I'll probably speak on it the rest of the day, so I apologize if I repeat myself, but I just think it's such a unique program, and I see some counties, fortunate counties like Lancaster, I see in other counties across the state and outside of the state, I've seen it done as well, where we have generous donors giving opportunities to kids that generally wouldn't have the opportunity to come out and be involved in the agriculture industry and be out here and show an animal, let alone a pig as well. So my hat's off to whoever's behind all that program, all the money, the resources, and the time that takes to go into those deals. I think it's really, really awesome, and I'm sure you guys thank them enough, and I'll say this throughout the day, but whoever's helping you guys, whether it's on the personal side, but also the program itself, please say thank you to them. You can't say it enough, I promise, and I'm sure whoever's doing it, this makes their day, is being able to see you guys, all the hard work, transparency out here in the show ring. But I think there's a barrel out here that wins, and he wins quite easily. This off-belted barrel here to my right, I think that one's just the most complete as far as the drive goes. These lighter weight pigs are obviously a little bit more green, a little bit more immature. He's the most developed in terms of his muscle patterns today. I think he's getting there in terms of his composition. He's more of a moderate frame kind of barrel, so that's probably working to his advantage. He might have a little hitch in his step, but I think that's getting critical as far as this class goes. And then I think it gets awful close between 3 or 4 of them here for second. The predominantly black gilt here is as green as they get. I tell you what, she needs some more days on feed, but what she's working with down low and her structural integrity is working to her advantage. I think she's built right at the ground. She's got some muscle indicators. She just needs more days on feed. And considering we're not going to send these guys to the cooler today, I think when we reach these guys 280 300 pounds, I think she's going to be more ideal than the rest. With that being said, the rest of the 5 individuals, unfortunately your pigs just didn't make weight. I think they need more days on feed. I think they just need a little bit more pop in terms of their muscle expression, and then we can talk about finish here in a few weeks on them. But with that being said, go ahead and give all these kids a big round of applause. They're doing a great job.
Congratulations to our super lightweight exhibitors this year at our Lancaster County Fair. All right, in the arena now is our first class of Pick a Pig, Market Swine lightweights. First class, Pick a Pig, Market Swine lightweights. Entering the arena now.
We got the Pick-a-Pig division here as well on the lightweight side of things, and I think this class really splits itself right down the middle. I think we'll do 2 purples here on the top 2, as well as 2 blues to go ahead and follow. Some differences between these barrels. I opted to go with the black barrel. This young man came out here in showmanship, and he's got this barrel. He just gets out and floats, and probably the reason he won in showmanship, and probably the reason this barrel came out and sprinted right out of the gate for him in his first class, is that he's so athletic in terms of his structural build. He doesn't really miss a beat. He covers his tracks. Everything just fits on this hog. He's probably not going to go out there and wow you in any one area outside of maybe his color pattern, but just a really complete one that I think's got a bright future ahead of him. This thin belted barrel here that's going to go ahead and be second is the more extended, is the more elevated one out of the 2. I think this barrel's a little bit crisper in terms of the top shape. He works right there on the back side of his blade and throughout the top side of his hip. Unfortunately, I just don't see him as good in terms of his structure. He's maybe not wanting to flex that back left just as good as your class winner. Maybe add some rib shape on top of him to go ahead and follow. We got 2 blue ribbon hogs down here. The thin belted one just got more substance to him today, but I think it's awfully close between those 2 as well. I just need a little bit more muscle dimension, a little bit more show ring appearance to go with that. But congratulations to all 4 of these kids.
All right, we got a little program change here. So we had a class that was added inadvertently. So at this time, we're going to bring up our Swine lightweight, which we are class 4. Swine lightweight class 4. Bring those up to the holding area at this time. Once they're in the arena, we need to bring our second group of Swine lightweights in as well. First group, first class, class 4, please bring your swine to the arena now, please. Sorry for the mix-up in the program. All right, well, we're ready to bring in this next first group of Swine lightweights into the arena. Let's do a shout out to our champion in reserve. Tim Egelhoff was our champion in our Pick-a-Pig lightweights, and Madeline was reserve. Our sponsor for that award was our Vanderford family. So again, shout out to them. If you see them in the arena, please say thank you for sponsoring those awards. Marcus Swine, lightweight, class 4. Please come to the arena at this time, please. Marcus Swine, lightweight, class 4. Cody Bruce, Jackson Bruce, Dylan Doctor, Trevor Gentry. Those 5 exhibitors should be bringing swine to the arena at this time. All right, we will be moving class 6, that's for our pick-a-pig program, in the program as well. And it will be in heavyweight, ahead of class 9. So class 6 will be ahead of class 9 heavyweight. Trevor Gentry, could you come up to the holding area, please? All right, second call, Marcus Swine, lightweight, class 2, lightweight 2, class 5. Second call, Marcus Swine, lightweight 2, class 5. Class 5, please bring your swine to the holding area at this time. Class 5, Marcus Swine, please bring your swine to the holding area at this time.
We work our way into, I guess, the original show, or the normal show, excuse me, the open show, whatever you guys want to call this, where it's just regular junior exhibitors. I think we got an awfully good class here on the top four. They're all very, very different in terms of their type and kind. I know we got some alike color patterns here, but if we break them down in terms of their phenotypic traits, I think they're extremely different. The gilt I opted to start with is taking a big chunk out of that blue hog side right now. The gilt I opted to start with, again, you're going to hear me preach this all day. I think she's the most complete. She's able to get out and go really good off of both ends of her skeleton. She might be a notch too down set in her front pastern today, but she's able to withstand that. She's not too tucked up underneath of herself. She's still able to get out and go. To get on top of her, she's not going to overwhelm you in terms of the shape she has, but the dimension in which she does have is genuine and natural, and I think that gilt just puts all of her pieces together for me today. The belted barrel here in second, the down-eared hog, is one that's really intriguing from the side. I think he's really good in terms of his front one-third skeleton. I think he transitions his face into his shoulder really good. He's really good in terms of his knee set. Unfortunately, as we work back, I think this guy just needs a little bit plainer and more nondescript in terms of his shape. I feel like if we peel the fat off that guy right now, there wouldn't be a whole lot left. But his look and his balanced look from the side, excuse me, is one that I like quite a bit. Just seems to bulk him up ever so slightly. Blue hog's the opposite end of the spectrum. This gilt is jacked up. She's got all the shape and dimension you need when you get down on the top side of her skeleton. She's got a huge hip and a ton of shape working to her lower stifle. Unfortunately, I think that's working to her disadvantage as she's getting a little bit straighter in terms of the angle to her blade and a little bit tentative in how she's utilizing her hip and high leg on top of that. Young man's belted barrel here that's going to round out the class is definitely the greenest and most immature in terms of his muscle pattern today. Big outline barrel with a big old forearm and scout skull inside of him, but just needs a little bit more days on feed and bulk him up to move him up any higher. So a really good class. Congratulations, all four of those kids.
All right, this is our second group of Marcus Swine, Class 5. And arena should be Toby Becker, Hannah Simpson, Cody Bruce, City Doctor, and Taylor Doctor. This, at the conclusion of this class, we will be picking our Marcus Swine lightweight champion. And Trevor Gentry is going to be added to this as well. All right, we need to have our Class 3, our previously Class 3, Pick a Pig, Marcus Swine, come to the holding area at this time for the next class. Previously Class 3, Pick a Pig, Marcus Swine.
Mic check, everyone, thank you.
Second class of lightweights here, and I think the white belt of gilt over there, I think she wins, and I think she wins pretty handily. She kind of reminds me of the gilt that went ahead and won the last class, one that's maybe not super out there in terms of any one area, but I think is just super complete and super balanced from the side. She gets out and she handles her extra mass that she has and compared to her contemporaries quite well at the ground. She too does want to get a notch or two down on her front pasterns ever so slightly, but she's still able to get out there and flex good enough today, so I'll go ahead and give her the nod for first. We got a blue hog, a blue-butted gilt over here that's going to go ahead and be second. And talk about hip shape and then shape down into her lower ham or lower stifle is extremely good. That girl's going apart when you get underneath her coming and going, and that kind of translates to what the power and dimension you're seeing up high. Unfortunately, I think she just gets a little pieced apart in terms of her balance and look from the side. One that's just maybe a notch too far forward in the angle to her blade wants to rise up in her spine, get a little bit round out of her hip on top of that. But an awfully good one that covers the market fundamentals good enough for me today to go ahead and be second. The Berkshire gilt over here is obviously one that's at a disadvantage just from a phenotypic standpoint from the show ring appeal, but I can tell you right now, I really like that female. I love the front two-thirds of her. I think she's the most flexible. She reaches the best off of both ends of her skeleton in terms of the class, but unfortunately, that's probably attributed as she's just a little bit lighter muscled today. I think she's a little bit greener. I think we knocked her up on some protein. I think that girl looks pretty good for a market, for the market basics, but as far as a breeding female, I think the brighter days are ahead of her for that. I gave some comments back to the three hogs here. They're all kind of alike. They're really lean. They're really green still. I feel like at this stage in the game, unfortunately the gilt that's going to round out the class, or the barrel, excuse me, is wanting to favor that hind leg just quite a bit as the day goes on. And you'll see that there's nothing worse than getting an injured hog once you get them up here to the fair, but I'm pretty critical as far as structural integrity and any lameness indicators that I might see. I'll be pretty critical of that throughout the day. So with that being said, congratulations to all those kids. Let's go ahead and put our hands together for the second class. Yeah.
Alright, so that was our Swine lightweight champ, drive. Alright, so this will be our Swine champion drive here. Also, we need to have our class 3. Class 3 is not already up in the holding area at this time. This is our class 3, take market line, middleweights. Please come to the holding area at this time. Again, we'll be moving to class 6. In the program, class 6 is going to move down to just before 9 in the program. Class 6 in the program is going to move down a few paces to just before class 9. First call. Participate. Swine, class 7.
We got the lightweight division here, Champion Drive, and I talked these gilts in class, but I'll make some brief comments. If you guys around ringside, you can kind of see, is it just so worked out perfectly that we have two that are more alike than we are different. I know that's not going to be the case as we work our way through other divisions, but I think it makes my job a lot easier knowing that I have two representatives of their class, and they're going to go ahead and be your champion in reserve, so I apologize for these two, but it's just too hard to split these apart, let alone place them as individuals. But just brief comments of both. Like I just said, they're really complete hogs from the side, they're balanced, they're good enough in terms of their structural integrity. I think there's some differences between them, but the moral of the story, they're both just a little bit down their front pasture, one will paddle out of that front end ever so slightly. We get on top of these, and I think the young man's gilt on the far side is just at a notch, a little bit less of a disadvantage. I think the turnoff of both sides of this female's spine is a notch better, and I think she becomes a little bit more explosive out of her upper hip. But then we move past that and we look at rib shape and knowing that these girls are not 280, they're not going to the tour today or anything like that. I think her rib shape and her width down low actually gives that gilt a little bit better of an advantage as far as where she's going to be at when she reaches peak market weight. So I think there's some sort between the two, but I just like the future. I like the look. I like the added flexibility out of the front one skeleton. Young man on the far side is going to go ahead and be your champion. Young man right here is going to be reserved. Congratulations to both these kids. Good job.
All right, congratulations to our champion for our lightweight. Winning that class was Jackson Bruce and Cody in reserve. Our trophy sponsor this year was 5 Alarm Fire. So if you see that individual in the arena, please say thank you. All right, now in the arena is our class 3. This is our Pick a Pig medium weights. Pick a Pig medium weights are in the arena at this time. The second call, class 7, market swine middleweights. Second call, class 7, market swine middleweights.
Another
Class 7, you should be in the holding area. This is our first group of middleweights, market swine. Class 7 should be in the holding area at this time. Please come forward.
Another close top pair as we move here to the Pick a Pig middleweights. I think both these belted hogs are good in their own right. I think there's not a ton of difference in terms of their type and kind, in terms of their muscle expression today. I opted to go with the one that's better in terms of his feet and legs there on the left. The barrel that's going to go ahead and be second here, the one on the right, the thin belted or off belted barrel, whatever you want to call him. He's got some swelling working down on his hocks on both sides. Barrel that I think reads a little bit too straight in terms of his front end skeletal as well on top of that. So I'm going to go with the complete one that gets out and moves just a notch better today to go ahead and win, and then one that's maybe a notch better in terms of the shape. He works right there on the backside of his shoulder, but unfortunately just has too many structural issues for himself to move up any further. And then we got three barrels or three hogs here that are going to go ahead and round out the class. Basically what I'm going to sort on these hogs is like I'm just going to finish her up at Mead, Nebraska, and I'm walking through and seeing, are these guys ready for market and how I think they're going to kill. So with that, I think we can rate them 1, 2, and 3 as far as those bottom 3 goes, and those are going to be strictly carcass oriented traits, because that's what these hogs were designed for, and that's what the genetics tell me. So with that, congratulations to all 5 of these kids.
Congratulations to our champion reserve winners in that show. Champion was Landon Aries and Austin Davis was our reserve. Again, a shout out to our red sign sponsor, Mitch Sump. I think, Mitch, raise your hand. I think you're in the arena, right? Thank you very much for sponsoring that award this year. All right, in the arena now should be our Class 7. Class 7, Marcus Swine. All right, Class 8. Class 8, bring your swine to the holding area. This is our second group of Marcus Swine middleweights.
Awfully good class as we get in here to the middleweights on the regular show, and I think the belted barrel that's going to go ahead and win this class does so, and I think he does so quite handily, and it's just one look from the side. This guy, you know, he might have some issues here and there, but I think from the side he's got the right look, show barrel look. He wants to run uphill. You get his head attached right there at the top side of his spine. You get behind this guy, and he's not going to overwhelm you in terms of the width anywhere you look at him coming or going. But the width he does have is square, and I think that correlates to maybe not being the biggest top one or the biggest hip one, and maybe needs some more shape and days on feet as far as his lower stifle goes, but he's more than adequate enough in terms of those areas. We get the Berkshire appearing hog here that's going to be in second there, that's pinned up. One that is almost polar opposite to the one that's going to go ahead and win the class, and probably this white barrel might even be exactly polar opposite to the one that's going to win the class. That dude's packed full of protein. Both these barrels are here. I think the Burke just handles a little bit better today. I think he's a little bit smoother in terms of his transition, his ham loin. He's smoother in his front end skeleton on top of that, and he's able to get out and go. Young lady's barrel here just kind of quit growing on her. He just started growing sideways and is just not getting any higher. Unfortunately, I think that guy's just a little bit too terminal, a little bit too quick, a little bit too moderate for me to move him up any higher. Awfully good class. Congratulations to those two kids.
All right, we'll get that Class 7 out of the arena. Should be bringing in Class 8 next. Class 8 next should be coming into the arena. All right, class six, please come up to the holding area now. Class six, this is our previously pick-up program. Class six, come to the holding area, please.
We get in here second class of middleweights, and this chromed up barrel, it didn't take me long. I seen this hog in showmanship, and I liked him a great deal then, and I like him a great deal now. Again, I'm going to use this word over and over again because I think it's really important to remember the basics, and I think this guy's just super complete everywhere you look. All of his pieces fit from front to back. He's really good in terms of his structural integrity. You get on top of him, he's the most pumped up in terms of his muzzle expression today, and I think he looks really, really good coming and going on top of that. The super square hog gets out and goes and flexes extremely well. He's probably not the prettiest from blade forward, but I think that's getting critical and awfully good one. It got awfully close here between these two the hogs for second and third, and again, the quality from top to bottom, unfortunately a good one to going to go ahead and round out the class. But in these smaller classes, sometimes that's just the way it is. But the blue barrel, I think he just fits the mold for what I'm looking for in terms of a true market animal. I think he's more robust in terms of his rib shape. He's more pulled apart in terms of the skeletal width underneath, which gives him the opportunity to pack a little bit more protein off of both sides of the skeleton, unlike that female out there. And she might be more of a breeding gilt in my eyes. She just reads too plain and nondescript in terms of the muscle expression throughout. Go ahead and round out the class. So congratulations to these three kids. Yeah.
Class 6 should be in the holding area at this time. Class 6 should be in the holding area at this time. Also, if you haven't already done so, please submit your entries for our Speaker's Choice Award. The docs to put those big sheets here are right here by the photography stand off to my left. Get those in to be eligible for our fifth field hands to give away within our market time of our Swine show this year.
We get in here for division, and I promise you when we're judging the actual show, if you watch showmanship, you probably thought I was going to be talking until 5 p.m., but on this market deal, I know what I like, I know what I'm looking for, and when I see it, it's not going to take me long to make up my decision. I guess the biggest difference between these two is just functionality. I think the barrel that's ultimately going to win is just put together so much better for the long run. I think he's put together to not only be better in terms of his flow and his pliability as you go across the ring, but I think he's also put together at the ground to allow him to have more meat animal product wrapped around his skeleton on top of it. And then the other barrel, I think, is one that's really alluring from the side. He's really elevated, up-headed kind of hog, but unfortunately, we start to pick apart this barrel. I think he's way too closed up when he's coming at me. I think a barrel that's way too far forward in terms of his blade, and as we see, he's not able to get out and reach and flow across the ring as good as your champion's going to be. So hopefully, if you're following the class descriptions, it's a pretty easy one. Grand champion here will go ahead and get the second out of the class to represent it, but my champion middleweight's going to go ahead and be that chrome hog over there on this backside. Congratulations to you. The blue hog that came out of that second class, that was a tough decision for second and third. Maybe not for your to win that class. What this barrel does, I think he does really good. I think he just covers all the market fundamentals. He's maybe not going to come out and jump at you and have a wow factor anywhere, but it's really hard just from, again, just broad market fundamentals for me to put a pull on that one. I think he reads terminal in terms of his type and kind, which in this case is a good thing. I think he's got more than enough spread up high. Maybe not the most descriptive in terms of the shape he's working down his back, but I think it's more than adequate enough. I think that one's a little bit freer in terms of the skeleton. Awfully close decision here for reserve, but the blue hog's going to go ahead and follow suit in the class and be a reserve. Congratulations.
Congratulations to our champion reserve in that middleweight Arkansas. Champion was Dave Dana, and reserve was Taylor Doctor. Sponsor award this year is Fire Alarm Fire. And thank you very much for those sponsors for sponsoring our wrestling this year. All right, in the arena now is our Class 6. Class 6. Guinea pig heavyweights. Class 6 heavyweights. First call, Class 9. First call, Class 9. Come to the goalie unit at this time. First call, Class 9.
We round out the pick-a-pig divisions here in the heavyweights, and we got 3 hogs here that are probably more ideal in terms of their composition compared to some of the other ones in those divisions that we've seen prior. All 3 of these hogs here at the top end, the predominantly white hogs here, definitely have some commercial influence. If I was a betting man, I'd say maybe Landrace on the mommy side and maybe some Yorkshire on the sire side. But with that, and understanding how can you evaluate certain animals like this that are probably more commercial oriented compared to your show hogs, it's actually quite a bit easier because there's not a lot of fluff in the commercial industry, an industry that I did not have very much experience to when I was showing, so I didn't really understand it or appreciate it. But it's really cut and dry here, and just understanding when these guys are at 12 o'clock, so ideal and optimal in terms of their muscle to fat ratio, also known as their composition, is ideal, and then making sure they're at an adequate enough weight and making sure that we don't fall into any restraints. Currently in the industry, depending on where you're shipping to, we're going to see some negative feedbacks and some diminishing returns from any hogs that are usually under 260 pounds and any hogs that are under 340 pounds today. Again, depending on what your export market looks like in those areas. So I think all 3 of those gilts do a good job at meeting the composition key, and then basically how the industry's worked right now is really off of weight and then dressing percentage on top of that. There's some also incentives for that. So I think that there's one gilt out here that I do believe is going to kill a lot better than the other two, and that's going to be right here. She's going to go ahead and be your champion, and then the young lady over here is going to go ahead and be reserved. And that's nothing to take away from the other two hogs. I just personally think they just need a little bit more days on feed in order to see them move up any further. But congratulations to both, or all four of these kids. And again, what a great program and a great opportunity for the kids to come out and exhibit some pigs and probably didn't have the means to before this program was developed. So my hat's off again to that program. Hopefully we can see that grow as the years to come. So if we'll put our hands together for that and the entire program, I think that would be much appreciated. Good job.
Congratulations to our exhibitors in our class 6 there. Our annual meeting now is our class 9, which is our first group of heavyweight market line. As our class 6, our winners were Chloe Schwartz, our champion, and Elaine Covers were our reserve. Again, sponsoring with the Swine family. Shout out to our sponsor team. Second call, class 10. Second call, class 10. Every year, Swine will be loaded area of the colleges. Class 9, we were really taken care of here. Last time call for class 10, holding area. You guys already turned in your people's choice award. We use those yet as soon as possible, so we use those. Again, also, we're sure we put a shout out to our chicken dinner tonight. And our food stand is going on, help support 4-H as well. If you are the winner of one of our stall signs, make sure you pick that up so we can show our other individuals that come out to the fair, hard work and dedication. So get those stall signs up today if you are a winner of one of those. So we can turn that in at 7 o'clock on Sunday.
first class of heavyweights, excuse me, for the open show here, and I think the white barrel wins. And he's the type we talk about two hogs that look quite a bit the same, and I think it's those two belted barrels there. And that white hog under a bunch of judges, he's either, I'm going to tell you right now, if we have 10 judges, that hog's probably going first 5 times, and he's probably going third 5 times. And the reason I like him to go first is from the side. I think he's the most put together. He's got the most show barrel look to him. He's short back. He's elevated in terms of the front 1/3. He gets out and goes. I think he's the best in terms of his feet and legs. Unfortunately, you get behind this guy, I think he's the shallowest. I think he's the plainest, and I think he's the most nondescript in terms of the shape he's working from his loin to his hip all the way down into his lower stifle in comparison to the other 2 barrels in the ring. But you know, as far as just being good enough or adequate enough in terms of his muscle shape, I think he's obviously not going to be overwhelming, but I do think he's adequate. So he's going to go ahead and win from me today. If he was going to go a third, and you're going to start these 2 barrels that are bigger ended, they're more opened up underneath, 2 barrels that are stouter featured, stouter skulled, and have more rib dimension on top of them. But unfortunately, you get to look from these guys from the side, and there's some bigger structural issues. I think the biggest structural issues with this guy on third, he's just way too flat-footed off of both sides of the skeleton. We can see he wants to run downhill as we get from the side of this guy, and I think he gets a little bit rounder and plainer in terms of his hip development too. The barrel that did go second, I think, was a little bit better in terms of his feet. I think he was more elongated in terms of the spine. I think he was more leveler from chine bone throughout his tail head, and I think that was an awfully close decision, and I do apologize for taking a little bit longer, but in a difficult class like that didn't have a ton of logic to it, I think it needed to go back to the basics. So awfully close class here. They're all going to get purples, and if we could, let's put our hands together for the 3 great kids.
We need to have our overall champions from the cricket pig, lightweight, mediumweight, and heavyweight. Come to the voting area at this time. And reserve. Champion and reserve, cricket pig, lightweight, mediumweight, heavyweight. Come to the voting area at this time. We pick overall champion cricket pig.
So this is a great example of really what drives me to be on my 9th year of college to now is the variability involved with these livestock species and trying to get the uniformity just ever so better, and the predictability can go up. And this is a great example, folks, and I had to ask because none of them were ear notched or anything like that, but all 3 of these are litter mates, so they're all siblings here. They're all 3 brothers. And so phenotypic diversity is based off the genetics and environment. So we can see that genetically they're identical. They might split a little bit genes here and there from the paternal and maternal side, but then environmentally they were raised in the exact same area, and we still have a bunch of diversity across this and the variability. So that extra variability associated with these livestock species is what really keeps me in school, and being able to optimize those and capture on some indexes that these animals do quite well. So knowing that, we can definitely tell who is the bully out of these 3, the big brother. And for those reasons, I think structurally they're all quite a bit the same. The one that's actually going to round out the class is a little bit injured today, being on the left side, but the big brother here in the middle is going to go ahead and win. I think he's the bulkiest from top to bottom. I think he's actually the best in terms of the skeletal quality too, ironically on top of that. So the one that's been stealing feet his whole life is going to go ahead and win. The barrel here is going to go ahead and win second on my far side. He's just a little bit better and more comfortable on his feet and legs today than the barrel that's ultimately going to round out the class. So congratulations to all three of those kids, and good luck on your future projects going forward.
We need to have our campaign champions and reserve champions from up in Boulder area and we'll be next to the arena. Pick a pig champions from lightweight, middleweight, and heavyweight down to your holding area at this time. In the arena next will be pick our overall champions for our Swine heavyweights.
I don't know if anybody remembers the first comments I had in the lightweight division about two individuals being out there, two pigs that are about like a pair made in heaven here, and then now we get into the heavyweights, and of course I told you it wasn't going to work out, and of course we do. We got two that are completely different animals genetically and have been raised different, and then two animals that are phenotypically about as far apart as you can make them. But knowing that it's a livestock show and trying to get these show animals and these crossbred progenies to where they need to be, and tracing some looks and some trends with the industry. I think the white barrow just fits the mold better, and I feel more comfortable using him today. There's nothing to take away from the Berkshire one. I know which one's going to taste better on the dinner plate, but I'm just out here looking at him on the ring, and the white hog I feel more comfortable. And if we bring in that second place hog out of that class, he's going to go ahead and be a reserve champion too. So congratulations to all the individuals. Let's put our hands together for a great show so far, and we look forward to getting some division champions back here in the ring.
So this would be our overall champion for our homegrown 4-H club called Pick and Pig. We're going to start familiar with it. This is a 4-H club that was started about 12, 13 years ago to give individuals that are in maybe an urban setting or maybe don't have the facilities to raise swine on their own farm. The opportunity to showcase here at the county fair. So this has been a huge, I can't say that even more, huge club to say and admired by others throughout the state and country. They're taking this ball and they started it up. Started by Harry Newbach, our superintendent over there. So to see Harry and come out and say thank you very much for sponsoring my content program for the last 12 years.
An effort of saving that white gilt, any more stress out here, I'll go ahead and make some just few comments and basically reiterate what was just said over the speakerphone here is I hope the kids that are in this program and the kids in the county and maybe the families in the county can recognize just how fortunate they are. I was fortunate to grow up in a county that was extremely competitive from the show side of things there in York County. But I can tell you one thing, and I'm sure anybody that's in the show world will understand who those families are. But I can tell you, when we did this program, we really liked it, and we got to see some kids that always were just so interested in what we were doing in the show world. They just thought it was so cool that we were traveling all over the country and taking animals and putting them out on shavings and giving them baths every day. And some of those very few individuals like that were also showing thanks to those programs. And luckily enough, me and my, I guess, fellow heavy show people in that county love nothing more than to be able to go out and help some of our friends and some of the younger kids on our FFA program. They did a very similar thing to this, and I think it's just so cool. And I talked about it earlier after selecting the lightweight champion, but getting these kids that, and I don't know what the makeup is, if some of these kids are living down on Oak Street, or if they are in just the suburbs of Lincoln and maybe just don't have the facilities, or maybe the parents don't want to mess with it. Whatever it is getting in front of livestock and getting in front of the agriculture industry, and just being able to understand and appreciate animal agriculture is very, very, I would say, important to these kids, no matter what their background is. And you learn just so much more. You can go watch a video on YouTube or go through a PowerPoint class or go take a lecture at the university, and you can learn a lot. But until you're actually out there bringing the water to them and feeding them every day, working with them, scrubbing them, trying to keep the flies off them, and doing that daily grind that, at sometimes isn't the most fun when you want to go to the swimming pool with friends, but you go out there and you owe it to that animal. And learning those lessons is so very, very important for these kids, and I know I appreciate it. Fortunately enough, we had a barn ourselves and we're able to raise it, but I think it's just so awesome that these kids are being able to come out and exhibit an animal at the county fair. So, and I said this earlier today, is for you guys that are in the program, or for those, I guess, that are interested or just involved, please go thank the people that need to be thanked. I think it's Mulebach, I believe, is the family name here. Let's just all take a second. I mean, these guys are getting so many kids, and this is just one year. I can't imagine how many individuals I'd like to know have been through that program, and just be able to get basically a beginning interview and an after interview and all the lessons learned. I think that everybody would be shocked with it, and they're all nodding their heads. These kids have learned so much. So if we would take a minute, I know they're not going to like it, but big round of applause for those two. Absolutely awesome what's going on here in the fair. And talking about the pigs and knowing what the program is, it kind of puts me in a tight spot. I'm conservative as the rest, and know that I'm not a big everybody gets a trophy guy, but I do know where to draw the fine line in the sand, and I wish I could give every one of these kids a trophy or something like that that's in this particular program. I'm just be interested in and getting involved. But we do have to break it down. Somebody does have to win and somebody does have to lose. Hopefully kids in this program and in this club can pick each other up and maybe share around the love in years to come. But with that being said, there's one hog out here. I think knowing that this isn't a terminal show, weights don't particularly matter to me. That's just my personal opinion. So that I think there's one bear out here. He might be the lightest one, but I think he's the best from top to bottom. Black hog over there on my far left is going to go ahead and be your champion. Congratulations. We bring the second place out of the lightweight division in, and I think it gets awfully close between this barrel and the barrel over there in the corner out of the second class. So nothing to take away. Again, I already got on my soapbox about that gilt in the commercial industry, and I think she represents what that breed does or what that cross or FFA does quite well. But unfortunately today, I think it's between these two more show pig crossbred progeny that we're seeing right here in front of us. And between the barrows, as we can see just from the outline, they're almost spitting images of each other, and I think I remembered that, but I wanted to bring this lightweight out, I guess, in contention and give her the opportunity to bring her pig out. But ultimately, they're about spitting images of each other. One just ate a little bit better for the young girl and just is a little bit more optimal in terms of her muscle to fat ratio today. So for those reasons, young lady on the far side is going to go ahead and be a research. Congratulations.
Do the first call for our lightweight green gilts. First call, lightweight green gilts.
Before I go ahead and select my champion, or I guess discuss the division winners here, and I know I've asked you guys a lot, but I like this deal a lot. I like the show industry. I like what these kids are doing. So again, for you spectators, I'm going to ask you again, put your hands together for the kids. I think they're doing a great job. And I said this earlier, there's a ton of things kids of this age can be doing during the summer, and I'm sure you parents can attest to that and are saying in the back of your head, yeah, I know, we've been swamped, and whether it's baseball or any of the other club sports that are going on during the summer, or the kids want to go to the swimming pool and hang with friends or go down the street and do anything with their friends, it's difficult to make this whole show deal work. I'm not so much for big speeches, but I am good at telling kids to not take this for granted, because I'm very guilty of that myself. I think anybody that has any show experience and that did it as a passion, not really a hobby, did it as a passion growing up, they can tell you as soon as you get out of it, everything starts making more sense, and you start appreciating all those little things that happen during your show career. And one of those little things that's definitely not little, I guess, is the sacrifice your parents have to make, or your grandparents, your aunt and uncles, whoever guys, the show kids, if you guys want to, whenever you get back, not even only the kids that have made it here to the champion drive, but everybody that showed an animal today, or shows an animal this weekend, if you guys are listening around the ringside, you got to tell the people that got you here thank you, and you can't say it enough. Go give them a big hug. Say thank you. You don't have to say thanks for spending this much money or blah, blah, blah. Just say thank you. It's a tremendous sacrifice that the parents have to make every single year, not only financially, but in terms of the time standpoint too. And it's one thing I wish I would have said more to my dad when I was growing up, is thank you for everything you're doing. It took me a few years after I got done showing to really realize how much he did for me. And the only reason I know that now is because he's got entirely too much free time on his hands, and tends to bug me about all sorts of things, including how much gas I'm running through my pickup and stuff like that. So I really wish I would have said thank you to my dad quite a bit more, and my mom growing up, for all the sacrifices they did. But you kids don't have to make the same mistake I did. I'd be very appreciative to be in this ring, to have an animal that's probably worth quite a bit of money. If you're out here or anything like that, just make sure you say thank you. So I guess that was my little speech. Again, I'm only 26 years old. I got a lot of life lessons to learn myself before I feel comfortable on passing too many on to these kids. We break down the pigs real briefly, and I know I would like to talk quite a bit. But the lightweight gilt that comes out of the lightweight division, she's a little bit tender back right now. It looks like she got a little sun or some irritation or something like that. But a gilt that I commended in her respective class and division for just being so complete, so smooth made from the spine. She's long and extended throughout. She's not overwhelming in terms of the muscle and shape she has. But again, I think I called her a little bit greener in how she got the head nod over the other black tipped barrel or gilt in that particular drive. But she's built so good underneath. I think she's so square and she's busted open in terms of her chest. And you're going to have the same story when you get in behind her. Maybe just a touch green today compared to maybe one other hog, but I think an awfully good one that's hard to fill a hole into. We get in the middleweight and the chrome barrel that kind of ran away with that division. I think he's so athletic in terms of his hip and hind leg. I love the stoutness of feature. I like the stoutness of skull this barrel has to offer. Yeah, he's probably a touch moderate for today's trends, but I would say on top of things, he's actually optimal in terms of his condition today. A hog like that ain't going to finish at 315 pounds. Maybe like the white barrel that's in the heavyweight division, but I think where he's at in terms of his frame size and his condition today, he's extremely good. Young man, also my hat's off to him. He's done a heck of a job of skin and hair and getting this pig trained to the right aspects for what this kid's doing. He did a heck of a job in showmanship, and he's out here driving the wheels off his barrel again during the final drive. So my hat's off to that young man. White barrel that's kind of different here, that's going to represent your heavyweight division. One again, he's got that show barrel look from the side. He's elevated. He's really good. He's probably the most extended. He's probably attached at the best in terms of his neck to the top of his spine compared to the rest of the contemporaries out here. Unfortunately, I think if we step away from this hog, we see he's just a little bit too plain and a little bit too nondescript to get around another one out here. So with that being said, I'll go select your champions today, and then we'll bring the reserve out of that division. I'll go pick the one I like second best. But again, and just so I don't forget during the breeding guild show, all the exhibitors, and I know I didn't mention it, or parents, anybody, this whole table over here, the ring staff, everybody at the fairgrounds. It takes a ton of work to put on a show. Luckily, we got a great facility here. We got a ton of help, it looks like, so you guys can feel pretty fortunate. But you guys can thank them right now. You guys can clap or just go up afterwards. Thank all those people that are putting this out, putting this show on. And thank you guys so much for having me. This is a complete honor to come and evaluate the kids and evaluate the animals. I take it very, very seriously, and most importantly, it's a lot better than sitting in my office down on campus today. So I thank you for letting me get away from that for a few hours. So with that, I'll go select the one I like best. But congratulations to not only kids that made it out here, but all the showmen for bringing a project and working through it all summer. You guys all did a great job. Congratulations. The reserve is quite a bit more difficult for me, and nothing against your white bear over here, young lady. I think it just gets awfully close between these two. We bring out the reserve out of the middleweight division, and this dude just keeps impressing me every time I look at him because, like I said about the couple other ones, there's not anything fundamentally wrong with that barrel. He meets all the basics. He's got muscle. He's got some finish on him. He's got a decent look from the side, and he's able to get out and handle himself in terms of his feet and legs. That's basically the basics of market fundamentals for me, and I think he does that quite well. We get him out here against that gilt, and I think she does have a little bit more class to her. I think she's a little bit more eye-appealing from the side. The barrel's definitely got more substance and meat animal product up high. He's better in terms of his rib shape today, but unfortunately, I'll go with the added look in the future in that gilt. No, this isn't a terminal show. Young man's gilt's going to go ahead and be a reserve champion. Congratulations.
lightweight breeding gilts. Come to the arenas now, please. Lightweight breeding gilts. Get in the arena. All right, you got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left to turn in your People's Choice Award. 2 minutes left. Give it up for your People's Choice Award. Their boxes off to my left, or by the photography stand. 2 minutes. Final call. People's Choice Award for our Smithfield Hams. Second call. Second call. Medium weight breeding gilts. Second call. Medium weight breeding gilts. Please come to the holding area now.
We got some lightweight hogs here. I'm shooting on the south side of 200. Maybe these are more, in a couple of cases I can tell just by the headset that these are maybe some older hogs that were battling some disease or some sickness issues. Or perhaps were just like some of the ones that I try to feed and just were no good doers, didn't want to eat for some reason, one or another, or maybe just got bullied around or something like that. So we got a couple that I believe are pretty green. Maybe they are more alike in age than what I'm giving them to, and then we've got a couple that I think are just maybe not performing to the best of their abilities. The gilt that I am going to go ahead and win here is one that's definitely wanting to be a little bit stubborn today, this chromed up gill on the side. But when you break her down in terms of her angles, in terms of the structure, integrity she's got in terms of her feet, in terms of her front skeleton, in terms of how she places her hop when she leaves me, I think this gilt does that, and I think she does it she does it better than anybody else in the class and does it quite handily. We break her down on top of that. She's got some shape working down her spine. She's good in terms of her rib cage, which is important in making barrows down in the future. But I awfully one that's extremely, extremely green. But we get her tank down a little bit. I think her better days are going to be about 4 or 5 weeks. The black gilt's probably the most unique in some areas. I think she's attaches the best maybe out of anything that I've seen today in terms of her head and neck. One that's really, really unique in terms of just the color pattern, which you guys might joke about being on breeding animals, but these black hogs, if you guys have ever sold pigs, black oriented hogs are obviously going to sell a lot better than predominantly white ones. And there's something genetically involved with the white-footed ones that they tend to pass down their genetics a lot easier in terms of coat color and color pattern. So that definitely holds some merit to me, and maybe not a lot of other judges, but I think it helps her case in this regard. Ultimately, why she goes second, she's just too jammed tight into her ham loin. She gets around out of her hip and straighten her hop accordingly. And then we got 2 gilts here that I read just a little bit older for some reason. I think they're a little bit more mature in terms of their face structure. Don't look like they've been eating too great. Hopefully that changes down the road. These guys just need a little bit more overall ring appearance and some bulkiness to go ahead and move up any further. But interesting class here. There's some quality on the top end. But let's give all 4 of these kids a big round of applause. They're doing a great job.
Okay, last call for a medium weight breeding gilt. Medium weight breeding gilt. So in the holding area and you're going to read it now. Medium weight breeding gilt. Should be entering into the arena now. Last call, heavyweight green gilt. Conclusion of this class, and the next one we will be determining our overall green gilt champion and reserve. We will be determining our overall champion and reserve green gilt.
We get later in the day and temps start rising. I keep talking, and the pigs are definitely not wanting to cooperate, and I do apologize for that. But there's kind of sort through some of these breeding gilt classes, and judging breeding animals, you should be a little bit more critical in terms of what you're looking at, more of an index than just single trading these animals out. So breeding gilt takes a little bit longer. But we got basically these top 3, top 4 up here are all good in a couple areas. The spot that I actually ended up to go ahead and start the class, I think just puts everything together. There's one big area where I really don't like this pig. Hopefully, as we move through some generations after her, she's able to get that problem fixed up. She needs to be elevated and squared up and how she utilizes her front feet. She really wants to turn them in ever so slightly when she's driving at me, and I think she gets pretty flattened out on those pastures as we get to the side of her. But all in all, that's an awfully good spot in my opinion. She's really big in terms of her feet, in terms of her legs. She's working a ton of dimension down her back. She puts everything together. She's able to get out and utilize her hip and hind leg extremely well, and especially for a spot. I think that's an awfully good one to go ahead and represent this class. The more traditionally belted hog there to go ahead and go second is definitely the heaviest muscled, stoutest made one out of any of the ones in the class. She's got a really big front foot in her, or he's a big forearm into her skeletal cavity. She's really, really explosive up high. Unfortunately, that probably just works for her disadvantage today for me in terms of a breeding female. She just gets a little bit too tight in terms of her spine, a little bit too terminal in terms of her front 1/3 as well. As we move down the line, we got a gilt over here that's not wanting to cooperate for the young man, but my hat's off to him for sticking with it. Really cool made one. We just need a little bit more flash from the side and clean her up in terms of her front 1/3. I told this man with the kind of the blue belts or the blue hip hog here, one that's really, really smooth and really easy going from the side. Unfortunately, we just need to stout her up anywhere else we look at her. So with that being said, the rest of them, I gave some brief comments to the kids. Ultimately, we just need to pick these guys skeletally or just add some more time on feed to allow them to fill into their structural capacity today. But let's go ahead and put our hands together for the second round of breeding females.
Right now is our final class breeding field, our division. At the conclusion of this class, we will be serving our overall champion and reserve breeding field. We also will be doing our Canada 3 market. So you need to hook up with other branches, other individuals, and get your Canada 3 organized at the end of this class. We'll also need to do an announcement on market targets during this time frame and our pre-bid choice awards at the conclusion of our Swine show. Planet 3, which is Swine organized athletes.
Definitely the deepest in terms of quality. Numbers 2, obviously, here in this last class of breeding gilts, and that's nothing to take away from maybe some of those that aren't going to come back and represent those class. I think there was a ton of depth and a ton of quality in this particular drive, but I think there's 2 females out here that are very different in terms of their type and kind, but both offer some really unique traits. So starting with, in no particular order here, starting with this white hog, or blue-eyed gilt that I like to say right here in front of me. I love the front 2/3 of this female. Everything reads right in terms of her front, in terms of her transition from her skeletal, or from her neck into her chine bone. I think she likes to run uphill. She's good in terms of her shape. She's working up high. She's good in terms of her undercarriage. Maybe a notch greener today. My particular issue with this female, she just gets a little, kind of quirky, a little bit uncoordinated in how she transitions from her ham loin junction down into her tail head. As we can see from that extra slope she's got working there, she maybe wants to throw them up underneath of herself ever so slightly. I think the better days are ahead for that female. Again, I love the front 2/3 of her. I think we can maybe breed upon some of those negative things and find a board that matches up quite well, and I think she'll be able to produce in years to come. This speckled belted gilt here, and that's right here to my right, is another one that I think offers some really unique traits. I think this one's a little bit better in terms of her hip structure than that white hog over there. I think this one's more blown apart. I think she's better in terms of her rib cage, and because of that, she's able to work a little bit more dimension down the top side of her spine, and I would guess that the future barrels out of that female will also do such. Unfortunately, we get around to the side of these things, and this isn't just a carcass quality contest out here anymore on the market side, so we got to have some females with some extra look, some extra indexes in terms of how they're built up front. I'm more traditionally more of a basic kind of judge, but understanding where the industry's at. We got to have some look from the side. We got to have some feature down low to really get these barrows going in the next couple of generations. So I think she's just more of a fundamentally right one, but personally for me today, I'm going to go with the one with some extras, but still good enough everywhere else. Young man's blue-eyed gilt's going to go ahead and win. Young lady's speckled one's going to go ahead and be second. So, and that's nothing to take away. We got a 3rd place gilt here. That's again just fundamentally right. She speaks power everywhere. She's really good in terms of her chest force, her given size, really shapely up high. Maybe just uncoordinated and not athletic enough in terms of her hip and hind leg. And then we move into a Berkshire that, bless that young lady's heart, definitely not one to cooperate. Fundamentally good commercial hog, and I could probably say that for those that are following. Just more days on feed and some more ring appearance to go with those that are leaving the class. But congratulations, a really fun class to evaluate, and I believe it's time for the grand drive. So congratulations again to not only the kids that made it here out of their divisions, but also for those that brought a breeding female today. You guys all did a great job.
So now we're doing our final overall drive for our mediums.
I won't talk too long here. Again, I don't have any big speeches or anything. Kids, just thank your parents, thank whoever got you here. It's a ton of effort, financially, time commitment, resources, X, Y, and Z. I just thank the people that got you here. Hopefully, if some of these pigs are going down the road to State Fair or Zarbin or whatever the end goal is, my best of luck to those individuals that are are going beyond this point. And for those that are stopping here, congratulations on your success today. Even if you didn't go home with the banner, maybe the ribbon color you didn't want. Luckily enough, if you're not doing your last year, there's always some things that you can do better for next year. So everything with livestock judging is subjective. If it was objective, there'd be one show a year with one judge and nobody would have any fun. The good thing about this is in this particular show, it was my decision, and unfortunately for those that didn't do well today, it was official. So with that being said, it was a great morning here. I didn't have to travel too far, which was nice. Thanks again for Calvin and the entire staff here in Lancaster County for having me. It's truly an honor to be able to come out here and be able to work with the youth in Lancaster County, and then also get a look at some pretty good pigs while I'm at it. So with that being said, I had my mind made up. Here we have 3 females that are polar opposites. I don't really have a type or kind. I like good hogs. They can come in any shape or size. It's just how that individual is able to work with their phenotypic attributes on that given day. So with that being said, I'll go select your champion, and we'll follow up about the reserve coming out of that class, and then I'll go pick the one I like second best. Thanks again for having me, guys. Good luck if you guys are going to any other shows. Look forward to seeing the success story continue with that Pick a Pig too. I can't wait to tell some colleagues about that program and hopefully get that instilled into more programs throughout the state and fellow states. So again, congratulations. Once want to thank the kids, and thanks for everybody that put on a great show. It's been a great morning, and hopefully the county fair is a success the rest of the weekend, much like today. So congratulations to all these kids.
This time we will do our last class of the day. This is our team of 3. And at 3, get organized, set up over there. The judge will be over there shortly. We also will be doing our market swine focus. So in about 5 minutes, we'll have all the visitors come back to the arena, and we will announce our market swine focus results. Lawrenson. Josh Lawrenson, USA winner. Come up on here, put your hand. Raise your hand so we know where you're at. Landon Wood, are you here? Landon Wood, are you here? Raise your hand. All right. Allie Rogers. Allie Rogers, come up and get your hand. Hannah Simpson. Hannah Simpson, where you at? Raise your hand. Come forward, get it. Dustin Rogers. One per family. Allie or Dustin Rogers, are you here? One per family. Shane Colors, where you at, Shane? I know I saw you in the crowd earlier. Or you're over there, for Shane. Right here behind me. I'm right behind you. Jim Kearns. Where you at, Jim? Raise your hands for where you're at. And who's coming? We got Jim? Alrighty.
Jim Turn. Cut this in half. You only get half.
Sue. Loretta Sue. Luke family. When she's close, she's getting her hand right now. She's looking at someone else to take away from her, I guess. Donald Dearver. Donald Dearver, Senior. Here he goes, he's in the crowd, coming in. We'll bring it to you, Donald. Lynn Becker, where you at? You can't get out. Yeah. Vicki Nielsen. Raise your hand, where you at, Vicki? Alright, she's coming. Alright, hang on, she's coming off the left. This thing must be rigged. Downing family wins again. They usually Carrie Bruce. Down the last half hams. Last 12. If your name's not called, don't blame me. I'm not the one calling from the box. 11, Isaac Archuleta. Did I pronounce that correct? Isaac Archuleta. Where you at? Where you at? Clover County 4-H. This is Lancaster. Stacy Ayers. Stacy Ayers. Another close one. Betty Collis. Think it's Betty Collis. C-A-L-E-R-I-S. Collis. Collis. Betty, where you at? There she goes. Another family here is going to win. John Vanderford. John Vanderford. I know you're out here in the crowd. Saw you earlier. You were coming in. John Hanford, John, you want to put your hand? Rich Song. Some family wins one again. We got 6 left. So you didn't come up with great reading. All right. Now we know this place is great. Ron Clover, former director of our Ron Beach Camp. Pays off coming back, doesn't it?
What? No way.
All right, now we class with 4 hands here. 2, Tim Benson. Tim Benson.
The pin of judging is happening over by the pins. I'm continuing in the live stream though, so that we can hear the the carcass results. With the pin of 3, I talked to the judge, and he said he talks to the individuals one-on-one.
Nora Clark. I believe that's our last hand, correct? In the box. Is that all of them? We're done. That's it. Better luck next year. All right, we got one last announcement here. I do have our People's Choice Award winners. These are for our participants. Our champion was Alexis Cruz with 9 votes. I'm telling you, the voting was really tight. There was like 2 votes that didn't break 3. first, second, and for the four-way tie for third. Reserve champion was Cody Becker with 8, and he had a four-way tie for third with 7 votes. Let's take you for voting once again. When you got People's Choice Award winners coming up, get your banner and everything. We also need to have all 4-H exhibitors come to the arena for market. Carcass. Alexis Cruz and Toby Becker. We need to have all 4-H exhibitors and showcase this year that have entered their Shine and Carcass come to the arena so we can name those. That'll be our last call for that for the day. All 4-H and FFA exhibitors come to the arena now, please. Swine exhibitors from the arena now, please. Swine arena exhibitors, please come to the arena now for carcass results. Swine share. You must be in your official correct t-shirt to get your award. You must be in your 4-H t-shirt that we're giving to you this year to get your award. ready to read our carpet results at this time. We'll start to the bottom with our reds. We have ribbons to the forward, but the ribbon in your premium out to the center of the arena, please. Because that's how we're named. Okay, receiving reds. Receiving reds. Cameron Monter. If you had 2 or 3 swine, we took your top swine as your award. So if you had 2 or 3 that were just for carpets, we took your top swine for your award. Cameron Munzer, Jackson Early, Cole Saw, Aliana Cutlers, Chloe Cutlers, Chloe Schwartz, Shane Scott, Mackenzie Cordes, who are all red ribbons. Come forward and get your premium and ribbon payout now, please. All right, blue ribbons. Lennon Ayers, Kaden Dana, Toby Becker, Connor Nielsen, Parker Cordes, Greg Sable. And you're a blue ribbon carcass winners. Those receiving purple, Alexis Cruz, Matthew Metzer, Austin Davis, Hannah Simpson, Derek Bruce, Adriel Skinner, Taylor Doctor, Sydney Doctor, Cody Bruce, Jackson Bruce, Trevor Gentry, Timothy Agarhoff, Madeline Agarhoff, the reserve, and Dylan Doctor is our champion. If you want to call, then you can see the announcers and come through Calvin. Your name is not on the list. Madeline was third and Dylan was champion. And I believe that concludes our 2020 Lancaster County Swine Show. Thank you very much for participating.
That concludes our live stream. Thank you for watching.